Hey everybody, this is Salah and you guys are welcome to Smart Code. So this is our 3 WinForms project series, and in this series we are going to program 3 beginner levels WinForm projects. All the projects in this series are very interesting, and I'm sure after taking this series you will feel yourself comfortable while working with the WinForms. Our first project is a dice-based knockout game. Very interesting project where we will simulate dices and code a simple logic for the knockout. The second project is a personal information project. In this project, we will read some information from the user and then show that information to the form. We'll also code radio buttons to show the information in different formats. Our third and the last project is the ATM project, and in this project, we will work with 2 different pages, a login page and the ATM page. We will create users in our system, and only the legitimate user, the user which we have in our system, will be able to perform the transactions on the ATM. This project is a little bit advanced because we will be using a simple class in order to create users. So these are the projects we are going to create: dice-based knockout game, personal information system, and ATM. This whole series based on 3 lectures. This is the first lecture, and in this lecture, we are going to code dice knockout game. In the next lecture or in the next video, we will code personal information, and in the last lecture or in the last video, we will code ATM system. So don't forget to follow the whole series. That means you will watch 3 different lectures, 3 different videos. So let's now move on. It's now time for our first project, dice knockout game. The knockout game is a very simple game. You will start playing the game by choosing a knockout number. So once the knockout number is chosen, you will be able to throw 2 dices simultaneously. Then the system will calculate the sum of the dices. The sum of the dices in every throw will be compared with your knockout number. So if the sum equals your chosen knockout number, you are simply knockout. That simply means game is over. Otherwise, you will continue to throw dices. Your score will add up. So that was the introduction of the knockout game. Now you know what type of application we will be developing. So let's now start the development. So here we have a brand new WinForms project. The name of the project is knockout game, and here is our form control. To open the code window, we're going to simply right click on the form and then select the first option, view code. So this is our code window or code file, and this is our form designer. So let's start with this form control. We are going to change the title of the form, and for that, in the property window, we need to find the text property. Here is the form text property, and we are going to change the text property from form1 to knockout game. Now see, the title of the form is knockout game, and after that we will consult with the toolbox window and we will search for group box. We need 2 group boxes, so just drag and drop 2 group boxes. One group box is for selecting the knockout number, and the second group box will contain our entire game plan. This is our first group box. Let's start with adjusting the properties and the size of the group box. Now, the group box 1 is selected. The first change we are gonna make here is the text. The text is select your knockout number, like this. And the name of the group box is GBX select number. Now we're gonna select the second group box from the list. This is our group box number 2, and the name should be GBX uh, game plan. This is the name, and the text is play knockout. Sorry, knockout game, right? So let's just change the size of the second group box. So now we have 2 group boxes, group box 1, group box 2, and in the first group box, we will put 4 buttons to select the knockout number. So let's select for button element or button control. We are going to have 4 buttons and arrange the buttons. Button 1, button 2, button 3, and button 4. like this. And now we're going to change the properties of the buttons. We will change the name property and the text property. Select the first button. The text of the button is 6. This is our first knockout number. And the name of the button is BTM6. Now select the second one. The name of the button is BTN7 and the text of the button is 7. And now we will select the third button. The text of the button is 8 and the name of the button is BTN8. And now the last one, the name of the button is BTN9 and the text here is 9. So this is our area for selecting a knockout number. We are going to program this area first. We will make it functional before we move on to the second portion of the game. Now, in order to make these buttons functional, we need to assign them a click event. We will assign a single click event to all the buttons. Or in other words, all the buttons will raise a single click event. So we are going to select all the buttons. Now we will go to the event window or event section, and here we will select the click event. We can also give the event a name, for example select number event, and now just press enter and you will see a single click event is assigned to all of the buttons and the name of the event is select number. So we can check it out. If all the buttons are raising the same event, just print a message box here and some text like hello and run the program. Click the button and check the output. So here we have our form in running mode. Click on number 6 and you can see the event is raised. Number 7, the same event is raised. 8 and 9, right? So all the buttons are responding and they are raising the same event. So there is no issue with our code. Now the next step is to get the clicked button value. We have 4 buttons and all of them using the same click event. So a single event is actually shared among 4 buttons. So how do we find out which button is actually raising the event? So to find out which button is clicked, we will write something like this line of code is important. And what is happening here? Let me explain to you. Whenever the event is raised, this sender object comes in action. The sender object holds the reference to the button that raised the event. That means when the button number 6 is clicked, the sender object gonna hold its reference. And when you click button number 9, for example, its reference will be held by the sender object. Now, as the type of the sender is object, as you can see, its data type is object, and we know that we are working with the buttons, and that's why we are typecasting the sender as button. And finally, we are assigning the clicked button to this button variable. So this button click variable actually holds the button that raised the event. So simply using this variable, we can get the value of the text property. Now you can see every button has a text property set, which is a number, right? The text property represents a number 6, 7, 9, 8, and we can get these values using this button variable. So let's create a variable at the class level and integer variable. Name of the variable is, let's say, selected knockout number. Initialize it with 0. And now we are going to assign this variable the value of the clicked button, right? Selected button clicked, and we are going to read out the text property. Now we can simply confirm it using a message box window. And inside it, so we are going to print the value of the selected knockout number variable. Now let's run the program and check the output. So here is our form. Let's click number 6 and you can see number 6, we are reading the value. number 7, and 9. So we are successfully getting the value of the clicked button, and that simply means this part of our game is fully functional. We have a knockout number to work with. Now we can plan how does the user will interact with our application. When the game starts, this number selection group box will be active or enabled, and the game plan group box will be disabled. And as the user selects a knockout number, we will activate this game plan group box and deactivate this number selection group box so that user won't be able to change her knockout number until the game round is over. Let's code this user interaction functionality. Now in the form constructor right under the initialize component, we will call the game plan group box, and further we will call the enable property and we'll set it to false. So when the application starts, game plan group box will be disabled. And as the knockout number is selected, we are going to enable this game plan text box, group box. We'll set it to true and disable the number selection group box. So we will set it to false. So that was very simple to program. Just decide the order of enabling and disabling. Let's run the program and check this development. And so you can see the game plan group box is disabled, is not activated. And as we select a knockout number, this one gonna activate itself. So let's select a number. And you can see the game plan group box is activated and number selection group box is deactivated, right? So our interaction is working fine. So after this development, we are gonna program this game plan area, right? We need to put some more controls here. The first control is the label control. Take a label control right here, and here we will show the selected knockout number. So, and start with the name. The name of the control is LBL selected uh, number, and the text inside it, let's say you selected 0. So as the player selects a number, we will update this text value. Now we need two more label controls for the dices. So let's drag and drop. And the first label control start with adjusting the properties. The text in this label control is 0. The name of the first label control is LVL dice 1. And we are going to change the fore color is let's have white, and the back color, let's change it to black like this, and turn the auto size property to false so that we can make it bigger, just like a dice like this. And now we are going to place this text in the middle. So if I scroll down, so we have text align, which is set to top left, and we are going to change it to middle, right? So this is our first dice. I think we need to increase the size of the text as well. So here is the font property, and the size we can take, let's say 20, right? Now we will select the second label and we will do the same here. The fore color is white. The size of the text is 20, and the background color is uh, black. Auto size is false. And finally, the text, let's scroll down, and the text align is in the middle. And now we can stretch to make it the same size, right? Of course, the text inside it should be 0. So now we have two dice faces, and right under the dice faces, we need another label control. Uh, Here we will show the sum of the dices. Set sum of the dices is 0. We will update the text as we roll the dice. And now right under this label control, we need another label control where we will show the total score. And I think I forgot to change the name of the sum of the dice's label. The name is LBL sum. And now select this one. The name is LBL total score. And the text should be total score, which is 0 from the beginning. And finally, I think we need a button. Everything is programmed behind this button. So here we have a button. Just change the text like play or throw is more logical. And the name BTN throw. And we need another button to restart the game. And this button I'm going to place outside of the group box. And the name of the button is BTN start. And the text should be restart the game, right? Now our designer have all the controls we need, and it's now time to program further. The rest of the application is programmed behind this throw button. So let's select the throw button, go inside the event window and give it or assign it an event. You can give event a name, for example, throw event. Now press enter. And here we have our throw event. And when this event is raised, several things is going to happen inside it. The first thing that will happen here is a random dice value. So we will go at the top and we create a random object using the random class, random, new random. And now we are going to create another method that returns a random dice value. So int get random dice value like this. And this method will simply return a dice value from 1 to 6, right? So whenever we call this method get random dice value, we will get a random number ranges from 1 to 6. And this random method we are going to call twice here because we have two dices. And to save the random numbers, we need variables. So let's create two more variables. Int d1, initialize it with 0, int d2, and initialize it also with 0. We need some more variables, int sum or the dice sum, initialize it with 0 as well, and int total score also 0, right? So we have all the variables in our code file. And now as the button is clicked, we are gonna call get random dice value once in the d1 variable. D1 represents the dice one. And in the d2 variable, we will once again call the random dice value, right? So now we have two dice values, two random dice values. As we get the values, we will first calculate the sum of the values, d1 plus d2. And now we will simply update the GUI. We have a label control, dice1, and the text property is updated with d1 like this. And the dice2 label control, okay, the dice2 is not showing here. I think we forgot to change the name. The name is not changed, as you can see, the label 2. We are going to change the name. The name should be LBL dice 2, right? Now it will appear in the code, LBL dice 2, call the text property, and D2 to string. And now we have a label control to show the sum of dices, LBL sum. We'll update the text property and we'll show the sum of the dices. Very straightforward and no logic in the program as for now. So let's run the application and see if it's working or not. So here's our application. Select a knockout number, throw the dices. Now here we have out of range exception. I think we need to put a comma here, right? There are two arguments, two ranges, minimum and maximum. So there is a comma. So that was a mistake. So let's run the program again. Select a value. Now throw dices. I can see the dices are there. The dice sum is here. The text is not coming. We will fix it. And we also need to fix your selected number, right? The selected number is not showing here. So let's fix the application. With the sum value, we need to attach a text here. The sum of the dices like this, and concatenation, right? We can now remove the to string, don't need it. And as the number is selected, we have a label here to show the number, LBL selected number of text. And he'll also have a text you selected and the selected knockout number. So let's run the application and check the program is working fine. So I hit the application, select a number. I can see the selected number is shown here. And here we have the sum of the dice is 0. So let's throw the dice. So it's now working fine. And now after that, we need to work with the total score. And here we need to implement a logic. So the logic, right? Game over logic. And it's very simple. If the sum of the dice equals, selected knockout number, that means we are knocked out, the player is knocked out. And here we'll program some options. But if the condition is false, that means the player is still in the game. So we need an else statement here. And here we are going to uh, increase the score, right? Like this. So the total score is only increased as long as the player is in the game, as long as the player is not knocked out, right? And when the player is knocked out, we need to take some actions. The first action we are gonna take here is a message box. We will show a message box to the user, like you wanna play again or not, right? The text in the message box is, oops, you are knocked out, wanna play again, like this. The title of the message box is knocked game, and the buttons we are going to choose here is yes and no, right? The user have only two choices, select yes or no. And I think the knocked out is spelled KNOCKED, knocked out. The message box response is a dialog result. So we need a variable of dialog result. Let's say yes and no is a variable. And now we can program further based on the choice made by the users. So in an if statement, we will check if yes, no variable equals dialog result of yes. That means the user wanna play again. So when the choice is yes, we are simply gonna reset each and everything. For example, D1, 0, D2, 0, sum, 0, total score, initialize to 0. And now we will update the graphical user interface form. We will update all the label controls, LBL selected number dot text. Here we write you selected 0, LBL sum of LBF sum of text, and here you will write the initial value, the sum of the dices is 0, and LBL total score dot text, total score is also 0. At the same time, we need to enable number selection group box, enable true, and will disable the game plan group box, enabled false. So these are the reset values. As the user decides to play again, we need to reset our application. So let's now run this program and check the development. So select a knockout number. We will play until the game is over. Throw. The total score is not updating. We have made a mistake. We will fix it later. Now you can see I am knocked out. The sum of the dice is 9, and 9 is my selected knockout number. Now I will play. Yes, I want to play again. Our application is now totally reset, as you can see here, and we need to choose a knockout number once again. And now we can start playing, and for a bad luck, knockout in the first run, right? Click yes, and I can see you can start playing again. Here we have a single fix. We are updating the total score, but not the user interface. So we have our label control, LBL total score, target the text property, total score, total score. Now we need to decide if the user does not want to continue and press the no button, then what will happen? So let's code an if statement right under the first one. And if yes, no contains dialog result of no, we are gonna simply disable both the group boxes. So the first group box is number selection group box, enabled, false, and the second group box is game plan. They should also be deactivated, right? Let's now run the program and check the development. Here we have our application. Let's select a number and continue to play. Now I become knockout and I want to play again. So let's press the yes button. I see our application is reset and I'm going to select, let's say number 9. And there is another bug. We forgot to reset the dice value, right? So we're going to fix it later on. Let's start play. And now I will select the no option. And no option will simply deactivate both the group boxes. Let's select the no options. I can see both the group boxes are now deactivated. And so after that, if the user decides to play again, then there's only one option left, restart the game. This button will simply initialize the game once again so that the user can play the game, right? But first we need to reset the dice values as well before we program the restart game button. So we have LBL dice1 dot text should have 0, and LBL dice2 of text should also have 0. Let's now move on to this last option, restart game button. Select the button and assign it a click event. And the name of the event is restart game. Press enter. So here we have our restart click event. This restart click event will simply reset all the values that we have in the yes option, because the yes option actually initializes the game from the start. So we can simply copy all these lines and put them in the reset option. But if we do so, our code duplicates, which is not a good practice. So to avoid code duplication, we can simply create a method, and the method can be called several times on different places in our code file. So down there, we are going to create a method void reset game like this. And in this method, we are going to put all these values. And now this method is actually called on two different places. Restart game. Here we're going to call the reset game method. And the same method is also called in the yes option. Reset game. That's it. So my friends, our knockout game in Windows Form desktop application is completely programmed. Let's run the application one last time and see if everything is working. So let's choose a knockout number. Let's say I choose number 9. like this, and I start playing through dices. And so I am knocked out. As you can see, the sum of dices is 9, and this is my total score. I want to play again, so I will choose the option yes. And so I need to choose another knockout number, number 8 this time. Now throw out once again. As you can see, the sum of the dices is 8. And now I will choose the option no, I don't want to play again. So the game is totally disabled, as you can see. And now we can choose the restart game button in order to initialize the game once again from the start. So let's click on the restart game options. As you can see, the game is initialized from the start and we need to choose a number. Let's say number 9. And now we can play once again. So my friends, that was a knockout application which we designed and coded in WinForms. And I hope you enjoyed the development of this application. So the knockout game was the first project in this project series. The second application we are going to program is the personal information application. So don't forget to watch the next video of this project series. I will see you there. Thanks for watching.